On this week's episode of The Video Store, Josh buttboys the Outsider and Frank better call Saul before the Paradise PD find his Lego Masters, and Frank devs Dave's while standing up falling down with Night Owls at the World's End, while Josh grifters the freaks with Neon Demon and goes Spenser confidential, and Frank has a long goodbye during an outbreak with Marc Maron.
Wash your hands.
Intelligent, but we going stupid. This new shit. Hit strip club, see some hoes that I went to school with. Out in London like Lennox Lewis. Bitch looking like Farrah Fawcett. I'm just trying to make better music.
Welcome to the Video Store Podcast. We are here to discuss movies, TV shows, and whatever else we've watched. My name's Frank.
My name is Josh. This is a PSA announcement. Service 1.
That's all you got. How's it going, man? I hear there's some news, like you're actually trending upwards medically.
Yeah, seriously, everyone else is trending down a fucking spiral, and I am only going up, baby. Suck it. I got my cast off today, so I have seen my hand for the first time in a long time, and it's really fucking ugly. It's really ugly. It is gross. But it's interesting that it's touched water again. That was weird. I don't remember what that felt like. And then also that as the coronavirus delays all my hockey teams, that allows me more time to rehab and possibly get back for the playoffs. So honestly, I'm just moving on up to the east side.
That's good. It's good to hear. It's beautiful. I had nothing as near serious as you, but I feel like because of the warmer weather, I had a bit of insomnia last week.
I went on a fucking cruise too. Fuck.
Yeah.
All this shit.
And you're healthy. You got your limbs working.
Healthy-ish, dude.
Your appendages are functioning better than they have in weeks. But I could
issues with clothes.
Yeah. But I guess because it was warmer, dude, I couldn't sleep on Monday, and it was like 2 a.m. and I was like freaking out because I have a lot of flashbacks from retail life where like you couldn't do anything. You were like fucked. If you're sick, you had to come in. If you had an empty store to run, you had to take a shit, you had to like run and lock the door before someone came in.
Your boss calls you at 3 a.m. to tell you that someone's throwing a trash can through the window, and
all that crazy
30
shit.
minutes away, and you have to show up.
But I was like, you know what? I have sick time, and if I go to work on 4 hours or less in sleep, that's what I was looking at Monday, I'm going to be terrible. And I operate a forklift and use box cutters and lift things. Sleep. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just not doing this. It was very freeing, but my sleep schedule got all fucked up. So then I couldn't sleep on Tuesday, and I was like, I just kind of I'm real vague with it. I'm like, I just don't feel well, which it's true. Like, I was like, I'm not going to be able to come in today.
You should have said it like Drew B. I just don't feel well.
So I came in half the day on Tuesday, and again was still fucked up Wednesday. So I missed 2.5 days of work. But because
what were you fucked up on?
Just my sleep schedule was so fucked up, I wasn't waking up till noon, and I go to work at 7 typically. So everyone's freaked out about COVID-19. So they're like, oh yeah, you're fine, stay home. They thought maybe I had the virus or something. So everyone's hyper sensitive about that. And so did you go grocery shopping?
I did go once, and just to get some normal stuff, like a normal, my weekly, bi-weekly. I don't know how often I go, sometimes lazily. Yeah. I went and got a basket full of stuff. I just walked by a few aisles just to look at the madness and see what was happening. They were just totally empty, with the toilet papers and the things. Mind you, I already have toilet paper. I'm good. I'm one guy here.
You have to look down the toilet paper aisle, though. Everyone, it's like the thing.
Yeah, it's just that's the anomaly across America is toilet paper. Somehow, whoever at Charmin or whoever is making those royalties off of every fucking roll, I'm telling you right now, that guy started this thing, and kudos to that motherfucker because
I don't know. It's deeply seated in our brains that when we're going to be home for a while, it makes no sense though. If you're going to be stuck home through a storm or a pandemic, you need toilet paper. You don't need toilet paper. Just wash your ass. Just get in the shower and rinse your ass off.
A lot of people have said that. I think there's a million options out there. I mean, I think we all have terrible old shirts that could just would be better off as toilet paper.
Shirts are not good. It's weird.
Well, I'm saying disposable shirts that you're like, bro, I don't even need this anymore.
Well, okay,
I'm not saying you recycle the shirt.
What's the weirdest thing you've wiped your ass with? The strangest thing?
Probably some. I mean, I know some leaves at some point.
I haven't done leaves. I've done socks out in the woods.
Can I do sock? No, I don't. I'm never comfortable giving up a sock. Better.
You give up both, by the way, because like I've done it. You walk with one sock and one non-sock. Yeah.
I don't know.
Sock for me.
I would assume leaves. I can't think of many other things. Maybe just some very rigid paper or some notebook paper.
I've done. Wow, what was the situation there?
I think I've used some pretty hard paper at one point. It was rough.
That's our World War II. We tell our grandkids, I've wiped my ass with notebook paper. That's hard times. I've done like a wash rag. There's been times where the parents when like just forgot to get toilet paper, and I was young enough to be home, but I guess not old enough to go to the store. And at that point, I was already like pants around my ankles. I've used like washcloths and stuff.
Yeah. So looks like this podcast is going down the toilet.
Yeah. So yeah, pandemic talk. I did the grocery store too. I live, as you know, in Dundalk, which is like, for those people that don't know about Dundalk, Maryland, like my name is Earl.
Speaking of poop.
Yeah. Type place, a lot of white trash kind of people, which I love. Blue collar workers. I feel like a lot of them are preppers. So I went
white beater workers.
I feel like most of them already have their bunker of toilet paper and bottled water. So it wasn't that bad. I went Saturday, like noon, which is prime grocery store time. And it was a little bit busier than normal.
It wasn't super crazy when I went either, as far as the Walmart was pretty fucking crazy, and it was just one of those market ones. And then when I went to Target, really wasn't that bad. It was funny how Target was capitalizing. They're throwing all the things they think you want in your fucking Go Kit up front, right and putting it on shelves.
Merchandising. Yeah, I'm sure GameStop has like the zombie games out front and shit, the survival games.
Yeah, learn how to survive. Play this game until your electricity is out.
Thoughts and trailers. We have one trailer that we have thoughts on.
I did that
for
you.
Butt Boy is a comedy sci-fi thriller coming to VOD April 14th. Don't think it's going to make it to theaters because a lot of movies are being canceled and being pushed to VOD right now or coming out.
Let's not joke ourselves. This one wasn't going to make it to theaters.
It said April 3rd theatrical release.
Okay.
So this one is about Chip Gutchell, a bored married IT engineer. He has a reawakening after a routine prostate exam. What starts out as a harmless rectal kink soon grows into a dangerous addiction as he becomes ... I don't know, butt boy. So this is like a genre film, like a grindhouse type film. The title
Butt Boy
threw me off. I'm like, what? When you put this in notes, dude, I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? But it looks, if it was called anything else, I mean, you're going to remember it because it's called Butt Boy. You're not going to forget it. So, gold star marketing there. But sure. I want to see it, man. It looks like a gritty detective movie that's weird, but, interesting. I'm familiar with some of the faces here, but I don't know where I've seen him from. Tyler Cormick plays Chip.
Chip.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks good, though. I'm going to check it out. I don't know if I'd rent it for $6. I might wait till it's streaming somewhere.
Yeah, look, man, I found this for you. Man. I was like, oh, man, Frank is going to love this. So here it is.
What do you mean? Are you going to see it? Are you interested?
Yeah, I will totally check this out. I think it, hey, man, if we can continue a universe of human caterpillar movies with butt boys, I don't know.
Word. So
remember with teeth?
Yes. With teeth or just teeth?
Hey, I think maybe it was just teeth.
Yeah, it's a girl with a killer vagina. That's highly recommended. I would rewatch that one.
Yeah, that shit was fucking nutso.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to be looking for television shows to stream, to binge, because they're going to be home, and they're not used to being home. I haven't seen Outsider yet. My girlfriend's watching it. My girlfriend's watching Outsider. It's on HBO right now. It's like a detective drama, right?
Detective, more of a Stephen King with some horror aspects to it. But all in all, I'd say suspense thriller.
Okay, and then Ben Mendelsohn is the main character?
Yeah, one of the main characters. I'd say there's a few, but he definitely takes one of the main roles, and fantastically as well. So if you're not familiar, this was a story about investigators who are confounded over an unspeakable crime that's been committed. It is kind of Jason Bateman leads off as this person that's accused of this crime, and the story becomes more eerie and odd as it seems the laws of reality have been bent, and having people believe beyond what they fathom in their normal existence, and seeing people getting over those types of humps. And it was just very well done. I think the characters are very compelling. One of my favorite people was Cynthia Erivo, who plays Holly Gibney, who's this really OCD woman that was somehow, she has mental abilities that others do not, as far as almost an eidetic memory and things like that. Very interesting, quirky character.
Yeah, she was the singer in Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yes.
Yeah, she plays Harriet Tubman. I haven't seen it. Yeah, she's really good. She's been popping up lately. I like
wonderful.
Her. Yeah.
So I think this is fantastic for her and a lot of other people involved. Yeah, it's a very compelling story. I wish it was more of a Netflix show where I could have just binged the whole thing through, because sometimes those waits sucked.
Yeah. So is it over now?
It is. That is why I put it on here. I've now concluded this season 1. Definitely looks like there could be a season 2. They do leave some what ifs and cliffhangers, but it does conclude with some resolution and brings the story to a front. So check it out. Enjoy it.
So it's like adapted on Stephen King, off of a Stephen King novel. Like, what Stephen King work would you say it's close to? Like the vibe of it. Like, is it like The Stand? Is it like It? Or anything like that? Because I thought I was getting like True Detective season 1 vibes from the trailer and what people have been telling me.
I think it would be like a mix of It and Zodiac.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Because it is. It does fall in both. It falls in both territories, but initially it sets the questions in your head. So it's definitely one that develops and has a very large arc. I don't know, man. You're gonna have to watch it for yourself. I don't want to spoil anything here.
Fair enough, man. I'm definitely gonna check it out, because it's actually, I'm watching 3 shows currently right now, which is a lot for me. I usually don't care for much TV. Mm-hmm. I got one more Dirk Gently's left of the whole series, so we'll talk about that next episode.
Are you invested?
I like the characters. Yeah, I like the characters, so we'll get into it next week.
Do you like the little girl meets of it?
You know, the little orange head?
Yeah.
She's ridiculous.
I love Better Call Saul. The new season's out right now. You haven't watched this. Have you watched any Better Call Saul?
I watched some of the first, maybe the first season, and then I was like, meh.
Okay, so
I can wait.
Dude, we're on season 5, so there's huge chunks of this show you can binge now. The first 4 are on Netflix, so it is in my opinion, the best made show. The best. I mean, there's some miniseries that I thought were really good. The one that Sam Ishmael did with Julia Roberts, you know, talking about on Prime. Homecoming, like stuff like that's good. Like little one-offs. You know, the highs of Black Mirror are fantastic.
Where's season 2, by the way?
I don't know. But Better Call Saul is I think it's the best made TV show out there. Really? It is. Yeah, I think it's better than Breaking Bad. I know people think like that's just like a controversial thing. I think Vince Gilligan has gotten better as he went through making Breaking Bad, and he's like peak right now. And this show takes place both before, the majority of the show takes place before the events in Breaking Bad, but they also do updates where Saul's in witness protection, and those scenes are in black and white. He works at a Cinnabon, and he's in disguise with an alias.
Yeah, I do remember that from the first season.
Those come and go. You forget about it. They'll pop up like beginning of seasons. There's one in the beginning of this season, but there's the new characters are interesting because you want to know why they're not in Breaking Bad, and they're great characters. And the thing I love about Better Call Saul is that every character has multiple dimensions. Even if it's just like a one-off character, you're going to know something interesting about them. There's going to be some depth to them. They're going to be, some dimensions to them. But the main characters, which is, Bob Odenkirk playing Jimmy McGill / Saul Goodman, and you get to see why he became Saul, and that's super interesting. And then the character Mike, like his whole backstory, and these characters are charming, but they're not good people. Like one's like a henchman, one's a shady lawyer, but he humanizes all of his characters. So you've gotten far enough where you saw Kim, right? Kim Wexler, who
yes, and also I thought the relationship with his brother was also quite interesting.
Yes, that is amazing. That really like builds up and like shows you how that shapes Saul's view of the world. And Gus Fring shows up eventually. A lot of your favorites. Nacho Varga is another one who's in the drug cartel. There's a load of characters, and the patience and just like the confidence of Vince Gilligan is what stands out. Where every scene he just makes it interesting. Like interesting shots, interesting characters, what he decides to show, how he enters the scene and exits the scene. I think it's just amazing TV, and I'm a person that doesn't really like much television, but like Better Call Saul is something I don't even want to get far behind, and I can because unfortunately no one's spoiling it on Twitter. It's not like Breaking Bad or Walking Dead or anything like that. No one
gives a fuck about Walking Dead anymore.
But Better Call Saul is so good. They just make any like little minute storyline just so compelling and interesting, and I couldn't recommend it.
Just follow a donut.
Yeah, dude, like you got to get into it, especially now. Like, there's 5 seasons, and I'm pretty sure the 6th season is going to be the last one. So why not now, when there's a pandemic going on and you need an excuse to like kill some time? Watch the show, dude. It's so fucking good.
Do you think Walt shows up by the 6th season?
I don't even care at this point. I don't care. It doesn't need Walt or Jesse. I mean, if it was in the beginning plans, I think sure. I don't think. I don't know how it would benefit the show to shoehorn it in, so I don't think they'll do it unless they were planning on doing it from the beginning.
Sure.
But yeah, dude, it's so good. And Bob Odenkirk, there's a parallel between Bob Odenkirk was a talented comedian who was underutilized, and in this show you see the full range of his talents, and he's an amazing actor, just like how in Breaking Bad. Bryan Cranston was just known as the dad on Malcolm in the Middle, and people didn't realize how great of an actor he was until Vince Gilligan gave him this opportunity to just really show off his talents. And for a while, Bryan Cranston was one of the most sought after actors in Hollywood after that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely always killing it, both of them. So if anything that brings the shine out of some people and their talents, it's definitely wonderful to see. So any director or writer that's able to do that, you definitely have to compliment them for that ability.
Yeah, I'm a kind of person, I don't really care what the show's about so much that if it's just done well, that's what I want to see. I don't care, A, B, and C happen, and, I want it to be done really well. You put Paradise PD on here. That's a Netflix show. Didn't we talk about this before? Is there a new season or something?
Yeah, there is a new season or something.
Was I that condescending?
No, maybe.
So tell me what Paradise PD is about.
Okay, well, it's an animated series about bad cops, and not bad as in corrupt, bad as in underperforming.
So they're bad at their job.
Yes, they're very bad at their job.
So they're well-meaning, just fucking terrible cop.
I just love the intro is them all kicking ass with guns and beating up bad guys, and then none of that ever happens at the show.
Okay, I can appreciate that humor.
I mean, there is action. Things do happen, but not in the way that you would think a cop show would happen. There's a lot of weird fucking shit that happens. I probably could tell. It's just a very entertaining show if you like those adult cartoons. Has some people that I love voicing it. Kyle Kinane, Sarah Chalk from Scrubs. Tom Kenny does Dana Snyder. I mean, just huge list of names, and the comedy's definitely out there. And there's a couple of musical songs. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're average. But All in all, the character dynamics are fucking volatile for very seriousness. It is very off the deep end at points. So wouldn't recommend for under the ages of, I don't know, 17 now? I don't know what kids are watching nowadays. But if you think it's not appropriate for you, it's probably not appropriate.
So, I mean, with it being a cop show, is it just like mindless humor? It's not like there's no social commentary? Or...
No, there's more of a storyline and dynamic between the characters and learning more about it. Reminds me of more of like The Office, where you had these characters and learning more about them as people and in this position of this small town, I guess. But I wouldn't look that deep into it either.
Okay, so it's like a workplace comedy cartoon.
It's a small town comedy, I would say.
Okay, that's cool. Did you ever watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, a couple episodes here and there. Kind of funny.
Yeah. My friends love that shit. I just like sitcom-y stuff just doesn't do anything.
This isn't as sitcom-y. It's more of like episodes of Family Guy.
Okay. Like good Family Guy? Like 1 through 3? Family Guy's still going on, right?
I know. They just had a new season. And I was like, man, maybe I need to watch this episode. I tried and I just fell asleep because I was super tired. So that doesn't speak well to it. But I don't know. Yeah,
I do think I'm a slave to like stuff that has like a purpose, like an ending, like a landing point. Where like Bob's Burgers, for instance, I like that show a lot, but I don't watch it because it's like there's no storyline to follow, so I just forget it exists.
It's true. It definitely is an ever flowing. This one does have storyline. I will say that there is a continuous storyline from the 2 seasons about this drug dealer that's dealing Argyle. I don't know. It's a whole thing. Yeah. You'd have to check it out. But yeah, just something I want to bring up. Season 2 came out. We're looking for time killers. This is a good popcorn show for adult laughs.
Yeah, like a comfort show. There's nothing wrong with that. When I was sick last month, I watched a shitload of Letterkenny, and Letterkenny is pretty pointless show, but I love it. It's got a good heart to it, and it's funny. So, like, there's value in that for sure.
Yeah, well, boom.
Especially times like this. I will never watch Lego Masters, which is on Fox. It's just,
why?
I don't know, man. There's something about network TV that is just so... They just have an idea, and there's no reason for it to exist. This is just people building Legos, really, which is interesting.
Really
like,
complex things, and
I get it. It's cool. My nephew does this. He buys like spare Lego parts, and technically he's my cousin, but he's like 10, so it's like nephew vibes. But he buys like random parts and shit, and like builds these landscapes with a storyline. Like he did like this whole accident with police response in the hospital and all this stuff, and it was really...
Was there a hit and run, and the cops are chasing the guy, and the guys run down the street?
Yeah, he has this whole table that he does, and I think it's awesome. It's super creative, but I care about the kids, so like I'm interested in what he's doing. I'm not going to watch some stranger do it, though.
Okay, so I'm just let me get. Can I give you my perspective before
Sell me the
burn
show.
my fucking legs off? Okay, first off, Will Arnett's the fucking host.
I like Will Arnett.
Will Arnett, well, because he played Lego Batman, so he does a bunch. I think Will Arnett should be the host of every game show, probably. I think if they really gave him some territory to roam, he would be even better. But I think he's great in doing something like this. He's fun. The jokes are good. He has a good time. It's just enjoyable, and just someone that like a Steve Harvey. Could you really ever argue?
What do you mean?
You?
They're so likable.
Would you ever argue that Steve Harvey is not a perfect host for Family Feud?
Yeah, I catch it. He is great. That dude is pure energy and some of the best memes. The meme where it's like his face laughing, but like the shadow of him being upset. Like it just was used where it's like when you're laughing about COVID-19 memes, but then you cough. Like it's evergreen fucking material. So yeah. They are national treasures. They should both be protected at all costs.
Okay, so moving on past Will Arnett. I'm a big fan of competition shows. I watch Forged in Fire. I love metal smithing for some reason now. I love Chopped and all the
You're not alone, dude.
Shows.
Everyone loves this. You're not alone. I'm in the minority. You're in the majority.
So I love competition shows, and I love Will Arnett and Legos, and it's something new and different. So in watching the show, it's 10 teams competing over the period and every episode goes on, a team is knocked off of the competition. So it's not just a one and done episode show where it's like people competing for just this one prize and then you move on to new competitors. They're competing throughout this whole thing for one large prize.
What's the prize?
$100,000.
Okay. Do they get to keep the Legos?
That I don't know.
Like, they're supplied by the show, though, right?
They are. They have huge amounts of bins and, like, everything organized that they could possibly need. And then there's different dynamics to how people get some advantages or time differences, whatever. But the structures are always very uniquely different. But the last episode I found the most interesting was they had them build bridges. And they were going to see how much weight they could support. These, like, very large bridges. And based on that, and then a situation of, you know, what it looked like is the second factor. But 2 of those bridges held 1,000 pounds.
Holy shit!
1,000 pounds. And like, so what happened is as they reached like 450 pounds, Will Arnett's like, well, guys, you kind of broke the show. We ran out of stuff. They started getting like sandbags from the sound crew and shit. I mean, mind you, it's edited and done like still a show, but I mean, it would make sense that, you know, nobody really thought that it was going to carry a half ton. And they stop at that point and they didn't break. Neither of them. They just said, hey, that's going to be the max. We don't need to do anymore. And then 2 of those people, they decided who got the advantage based on, you know, what it looked like or what have you. But it was impressive. I mean, some people built that sucked at structures and architecture, built bridges that suffered at, I think, 150 pounds or 125 pounds. And some people made like 450, and it was crazy that one bridge. So this is something I didn't know, and I'm not going to get deep in this, but there's something called Technic or something of that. It's more of a flexible Lego that's supposed to be used for building structures so it can withstand more weight. Well, one of those 2 bridges that were built did not use any of that. They used straight Legos, just regular fucking old Legos, and it held 1,000 fucking pounds, man. Didn't fucking move. That was pretty fucking cool. That's all I'm saying. Some of that shit sometimes kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, it's not the kind of show I would watch, but like, I have friends like you that watch all the competitive shows, so I would recommend them to watch this based on what you said. But how's Will Arnett like take it? I'm assuming he cracks jokes and stuff, but is he into it? Does he take it seriously?
I mean, he looks like he's having a good time. He at one point they allow him. People build Legos. And then the point is to see how he's going to smash it. And I'm sure that's super fun for anyone to get paid to just fucking bullshit with people and fuck with Legos and then smash Legos. I mean, really, could you really not have a good time?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not something I watch, but it sounds cool. I like weird shit, which is like segue to Devs, the Alex Garland show. And I wasn't aware. I was confused that I even had to watch this show because apparently FX is doing. I never going to do a commercial for fucking Hulu, but FX
Hulu
does a thing now with Hulu where like all the FX stuff is on Hulu, which is cool. I love a lot of the FX shows. I'd say half of my favorite shows came from FX over the past 10 years. So every Thursday now, Devs, the new Alex Garland show, is on Hulu. And the next thing you're going to talk about, I think, is the same deal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is about computer engineers, and there's a mystery behind something I don't want to give away, but the show is very trippy. It stars Nick Offerman as his character Forrest, who's the head of this technology company that is. I'm 3 episodes in, and they're on the verge of some sort of discovery. Like they don't really tell you what it is. And they don't really tell you like how bad everyone is, but you're starting to get an idea of like who the bad actors are. Mm. And opposite him is this actress Sonia Mizuno, who was in a couple really good movies, but smaller parts. She was in Alex Garland's movies Ex Machina and Annihilation. She's also in La La Land and in that Netflix show Maniac. But wasn't really memorable, so I kind of want to go back and see. She's got like the sci-fi look though. Like
she's got the look. She's got the Kate Moss look.
Like the Sigourney Weaver school of sci-fi badass women. Like yeah.
Okay.
You'll just if you look her up on IMDb, you'll know what I'm saying.
Okay.
But so far, man, I love this show. Again, like I I'm not a big TV fan, so I like stuff that's very like feels like film, and that's what this does. Like it sets the tone and is very moody and stylistic and really well done. I have no idea where the show's going so far. There's going to be 8 episodes, and it's a mini series, so it's not necessarily going to have anything, past this year. So I'm really curious where it's going to be, and it looks fantastic. Like TV shows don't look this good typically and aren't acted this well. And who knows where the fuck this guy's going to go with shit, because he's really good at making dystopian sci-fi stuff, and I feel like that's where this is headed, but I have no idea how it's getting there. So yeah, definitely check that out if you like Annihilation, Ex Machina, even if you're like a fan of Black Mirror, which Alex Garland didn't do, but if that's like kind of your vibe,
What about Westworld?
This is like top tier. We can talk about Westworld real quick. I'm interested in the new season. The trailers are really working for me. I dipped out like halfway through season 2 because it just felt like they were going to recycle the same thing, and they didn't really know. I honestly feel like the writers didn't know what they were going to do in season 2, and that doesn't mean season 3 is not going to be good, because I'm already interested way more in season 3 than I was in 2.
I already watched the first episode. It does seem pretty good. I like the direction, because now we're outside of that world, and now there's action being taken in the futuristic real world. So it's more like Blade Runner-esque now.
Yeah, see, that's what I was getting those vibes, man, and that shit appeals to me.
Yeah, it's definitely popping.
Can I just skip season 2 and just watch season 3?
Cannot.
Really?
You have to fucking go watch those episodes.
Come on, man. I know what HBO does. HBO has like the whole catch-up 10-minute thing. They do it all the time.
Go watch it. Stop being a bitch.
I might just go straight into season 3. And
fine.
If I like it enough, I'll go back to season 2.
Because this is America. This is democracy. You can do whatever you want.
Apparently. It's one of those things.
Primary bitch.
Cool. So, yeah, I might... If you're going to watch Westworld, I'll check it out too. So we have something that we've both seen and we can both talk about.
I'm definitely watching it.
Okay. I'll check it out. We talked about Dave last time. It's Little Dicky, a.k.a.
It was on the trailer.
Dave. Yeah. It was on Thoughts and Trailers, I believe, last episode. How many episodes have you watched so far?
All 3 of them.
Okay. This looks like kind of like a Broad City type thing, like really weird, like over-the-top comedy, but really, really based in the real world, where it looks like people that dress and have about as much money as us. Am I getting the correct vibe here?
No. I'm gonna go with no.
No.
You asked for a vibe. I'm gonna go with no on that vibe.
Okay.
So really, Dave is it starts off in a certain place in this guy Dave's life, where he is in between he's made a few YouTube videos that have gotten a lot of likes. No real crazy reputation at this point, but people have seen his videos just like any other YouTuber. And he's trying to make the big push towards being a legitimate musician. So it's based off of what he did in his real life, where he took his bar mitzvah money and spent it. In this situation, instead of spending it on the album, he paid some guy named Nutty, who was YG's manager, and then I guess that fully hasn't played out yet, but so far he has not done the thing where he's supposed to get on his song. Anyways, I think it's really a great mix of surreal and not real, and although it does take place in a very realistic circumstance, you can tell what's a little dramatized. But it's about a guy trying to make it with a talent that nobody really thinks, based on what he looks like, that he could possibly do that. I loved I don't know if it was the second or third episode, but he's with his girlfriend who's a teacher at some school thing, and this kid, I guess, died from something, and his mom comes up and says, "Hey, my son's a really big fan. If you could perform at his memorial service, that would be amazing." He's like, "Yeah, I guess. If you could write a song about him, I guess." And he's never performed yet. So his first gig is supposed to be at this memorial, and the song that he writes is fucking just goddamn hilarious. It's and then you also have a lot of rap stars that show up in this. It was really funny. People were comparing him to Macklemore, and then Macklemore shows up at the kids' memorial thing, and they're like, "Sorry, Dickie, we don't have time."
So is this the funniest show you've seen in a long time? Is it funny, funnier, funniest?
Okay, since I have to be on a scale of funny, funnier, or funniest, I would say funnier. But also, I'm a big fan of Dave.
I know that. Yeah.
Foray into acting. I think he could definitely go much further as a comedian by other devices. Like, he would fit perfectly in any type of, like, Seth Rogen type movie or something of that.
And this is close to me, like, if I'm someone, like, I don't know much about Little Dicky, but I like shows like Broad City, Workaholics, It's Always Sunny. Like, am I going to
still
like
enjoyable.
this? Yeah. Okay.
Especially if you like hip hop music.
I do.
Or rap,
yeah.
or any of that. Like, you will enjoy this show.
Which is a good point.
If you're not a big fan of that, you're not going to get The Hustle.
Yeah, there's Atlanta, which is a drama, but there's not. In hip hop, I think, is the most popular music genre. You have
Empire.
That's true. Yeah, another drama.
Watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a hip hop comedy, and it's about a guy trying to make his presence known, hustle, do what he's got to do, and also with some very heartfelt relationship factors and honesty within his relationship, and just the two different people that he is, where he's like, hey man, Lil Dicky is just he's rapping, his girl shows up in the studio, and he's singing about, like, I eat that ass, and then she's like, eat my ass. He's like, ew, I would never eat your ass, I don't eat ass. And like, it's just
so he's not pretending to be, he's not fronting on being a gangster, he's fronting on being an ass eater. Okay, that sounds like something I want to see.
Okay, all right, well, check it out. If that's the tagline, I think Lil Dicky would be super proud of that.
I think you're going to like the next two movies I want to talk about.
Okay, is it Butt Boy, the sequel?
No. I hope there's a Butt Boy-averse.
Butt Boy returns.
We have to support the first film to even get to a sequel, let alone the Butt Boy-averse.
So go out there and watch Butt Boy. And remember, it's not Bubble Boy, which is also a good movie. And if you have a chance, watch that anyways.
Very relevant. We're all going to be Bubble Boys, Bubble Girls,
I told everyone they're
non-binaries.
laughing at John Travolta. Well, look who's laughing now.
I'm still laughing at John Travolta.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
The Burrows.
I've watched his current work. You like Ben Schwartz.
Yeah.
Do you like Billy Crystal?
I do, and I've heard of this movie. I have heard of this movie.
You're interested in stand-up comedy. Standing Up, Falling Down. It's a 2019 release. It's on Hoopla for free. It's also available to rent digitally, like everywhere. I actually think it's worth a rental if you don't have Hoopla. It's about like an unlikely friendship, unlikely duo. Ben Schwartz is a guy who tries to make it in LA being a stand-up comedian. He fails. He goes back to his old town. His girlfriend moved on, got married. Life in his town like moved forward, and he comes back and he's really not. He's kind of stuck, or maybe gone back. From where he was when he left. Billy Crystal has some personal issues of himself. He's a dermatologist who's just a fucking barfly. The introduction between these characters is hilarious because Billy Crystal's like just that drunk dude at a bar. I don't know if you go to dive bars, but like that guy who knows everybody. And if you come in and you're a new guy, like he's going to put his arm around you, tell you his fucking life story. He's charming, but you're kind of like, hey man, get off me. It's a little too much. You know what I mean?
Your breath, it smells like cheese.
That kind of vibe. But you forget, man. And I was reminded
6
earlier.
6 feet apart, social distancing.
Yeah, this takes place in a world where we haven't got there yet. But kind of like Martin Lawrence reminded me earlier in the year, Billy Crystal still got it, man. These guys are fucking funny, and like that stuff doesn't go away. It's just the draw. The box office draw goes away, or people's interest in working with them goes away. But these are two talented guys. Yeah, and the way this shot was interesting. It's like the style is no style. It's shot very plain. It's by Matt Ratner, who's done some indie stuff. So it's not like his first film or anything.
Related to Brett Ratner?
No, I don't think so. I think it's spelled differently. But his style is just basically like point the camera, let the actors do their thing. And it's very noticeable at first where it feels like, is this movie 10 years old? Like I went back and looked it up. Not campy, just but kind of grainy, not sharp at first, but it lets you just kind of get into the story and does make it seem I don't know if this is deliberate, but just, makes everything seem more realistic, more down to earth. And it's a really heartfelt movie, dude. I liked it. I cared about the characters, cared about where they were going, and I thought it had some good things to say. It was funny, sweet, a little sad. So, if you like those kind of movies, I would highly recommend it. I had a really good time with it.
Okay. This was on my radar. Maybe it's something that I bump up the list. You moved up the list.
And then Night Owls is something that I was not aware of. This is 2015 film. It's on Kanopy. You can also rent it digitally. It's got Adam Pally, and this is the Adam Pally movie that I've kind of been waiting for because I think he's a really likable actor. He's just been in stuff that hasn't really worked for me, honestly. I'm trying to think of the one that was a real just like flop. But I think he's like that everyman funny guy, and if he came out... you know what? I actually liked them a lot in Band-Aid. So Band-Aid with my girl Zoe Lister-Jones was really good. But other than that, he's kind of just been like, a cameo kind of guy. I feel like if he was acting when Judd Apatow had all those movies, that like the Judd Apatow Renaissance and like, all the Seth Rogen stuff, he would have been like the next guy. Like after Jonah Hill, there'd be Adam Pally. But he's really good in this. He plays a guy who's like obsessed with his job. He's like an overachiever, and he runs in, has a one night stand with this girl that it's that thing where like, oh, she's way too attractive for him because he's kind of like a schlubby Seth Rogen type of guy. Mm-hmm. And he finds out that she is actually like his boss's like ex-mistress, and he's in his boss's house, and he's got to play damage control for his boss because no one wants to know about this. No, like they don't want to go public.
Sure.
So it's really interesting. So these two people get in this weird circumstance, which is very realistic and has some very real obstacles. And it turns out to be like a really good romantic like comedy date movie. Like they're stuck together. I don't want to give away why they're stuck together over this one night. And I do like One Crazy Night movies. And the actress, playing up against Adam Pally is Rosa Salazar. Mm-hmm. She was fantastic in it too. She's been in like a lot of minor roles in like sci-fi stuff. She was in Alita, Battle Angel, Maze Runner, Bird Box. But the chemistry's great. It starts off a little weird. It's a very tight cast though. The other two actors you see, Rob Hubel, who I love. He does a great job. He like pretty much coordinates things through the phone. So he's just like yelling at Adam Pally over the phone. And then Tony Hale, Buster from Arrested Development.
Yeah, well, I know who fucking Tony Hale is. Man.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, some people might not.
Some people never watch Scrubs.
He plays like a dickhead doctor. And then Peter Krause is the boss. He's been in like every fucking TV show ever. Sports Night, 6 Feet Under. So if you don't know who that is, you've probably seen the face before. But yeah, dude, it's a really good movie. It's honestly one of my favorite romantic comedies in a long time because not only is it like realistic characters where I'm like, oh yeah, these are real people. Like they seem like real people, and this is a situation that I could see happening. It's played really well, and the humor's dark, and the drama is actually from like a place that makes sense and you can relate to. It's not over the top where it's like some silly fucking hook or anything,
Yeah, we don't see a lot of good black comedies as much as we did things like Ice Harvest, and just we get it in some TV shows now, I think, a little bit more. But I don't know if it's because people think it's one long tone, but if you do it right, it's more of a dance.
Yeah, it's just in the vein of like the Apatow kind of stuff, but not with like a huge ensemble cast. Like there's 5 people in this movie.
Right, that is, basically nothing, which is good that you can rely on those people to, build your story around. Dude, my favorite one night movie is got to be Very Bad Things. Mm-hmm. You ever see that, Jeremy?
Yeah, I don't like it.
You didn't like that?
No, I know.
Man, I don't know why.
I talked about someone on this podcast about that because they love it too. It just doesn't hit with me. I understand. Like, no, that one just I don't find as funny as most people.
That was like the original Hangover, man, except a little bit more murdery. And now they all end up as hilarious.
Yeah. Speaking of shit that we've talked about on the podcast before, quickly remind the people. I mean, you guys tell me I love World's End. I would argue it's one of Edgar Wright's best movies, and I'm not going to fault you on rewatching this.
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for not faulting me on rewatching this. I think it's a good time to watch movies like this.
Yeah, I did a couple. I didn't put them on the show notes, but I've been doing that too.
This was more. It showed up on the old Netflix ticker, and I decided, yes, this could definitely do with a good rewatch. As you know, we are both huge Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost fans, doing through everything these guys have done. This was the trilogy piece in their series. And this is a story about 5 friends who reunite in an attempt to top their epic pub crawl from 20 years earlier, unwittingly becoming humanity's only hope for survival. So it's a great alien invasion movie, holds all the things dear that you love about the stylistic approach to Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and just a great, fun adventure. I love the band of trio. I also really love how this movie ended, and totally could have seen a whole nother universe deplore from that, and that did not happen. However, really fun movie. Love the arc, love the final speeches, just love everything about it. Fantastic if you're a fan of any of their work. If you're not, it's still just an amazing film piece, and super fun if you like to Attack the Block or anything like that. It's just a really fun alien movie that you can check out on Netflix for nothing, and introduce yourself to a world of Simon Pegg and the great English jokes that will forever last. Cornetto.
The Cornetto trilogy, yeah. It's the one that it's not I don't know if it's my favorite Edgar Wright movie, but it's the easiest one for me to just turn on and watch. It's an easy watch. It's like definitely an original sci-fi movie. I mean, the characters that they face, it's like the way he pulls off, you know what I'm talking about, like what they call them, like the ink or whatever they bleed, the nickname for them. Like, we've got blood on our hands, we've got ink on our hands. Yeah, like most people, it would be like a bad Will Smith movie in the hands of most people. Like you know what I'm talking about? Just the character design and everything is really unique and weird. But it also works as like, if you're, especially if you're a guy, you've been in a group of friends, like you've been one or two of these guys before. And especially like as you get older, where like people fall apart and you have the one friend that wants to bring everyone together. I thought the reason this movie works is because the relationship between all those characters is like sincere and like relatable. And
I totally agree.
Yeah. And it makes an argument for the scumbag in a good way.
It does. He's a great, hateable, relatable, somebody that we all kind of know, and somebody that can annoy you to the fucking core end of your existence, but you're hanging out with anyways, and you're still trying to figure out why. Simon Pegg's character is great. I think Nick Frost did an excellent job. I love where he kind of turns over the sober leaf. Was a great scene, and it's just a good fun adventure between guys on a trip to make something not logical still happen in the face of the end of the world. I will say Hot Fuzz for me is my rewatchable anytime that I could probably throw on and just watch anytime.
That's a good one too. Yeah, both of them, the action and the comedy works. I think Hot Fuzz has got just as good action and is funnier. But so World's End like has more heart to it, I feel like.
Oh man, I don't know. It's tough. I would agree on the relationship side of it, but Hot Fuzz is just so perfect for me. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to go watch that. I'm gonna go on a Simon Pegg-a-thon.
That's an awesome thing to do. Like that's fun. So sometimes you see movies while you're scrolling through streaming services, and you're like, I like and know all these actors. This movie looks fun. Why have I never seen it? And that was the case with Grifters. It's a 1990 movie. It's on, you guessed it, Hoopla. You can also rent it digitally. It's got John Cusack, Angelica Houston, Annette Bening. Annette Bening, like, as goofy as I've ever seen her. And I thought her performance was fun and interesting. Cusack's, like, doing the, like...
low eyebrow thing?
Like the grumpy, disassociated Cusack.
Sure, I've seen that. Cellular, did you watch that with Sam Jackson?
If I did, I don't remember it.
It's not great, but
yeah.
Anyways.
This one's directed by Stephen Frears, who's, I think, worked with Cusack before. He's done loads of movies. Dangerous Liaisons and The Queen are probably his biggest ones. this movie to me, it's like a con movie, but it's not smart and slick as it thinks it is. Mm-hmm. It's like based off, I think, of like a film noir, but it's just so fucking 90s to a fault. Like the worst, like the uncool stuff of the 90s. Like the grifts aren't that slick.
Janko pants.
Yeah, like Angelica Houston like just goes and like fucks with the betting lines at horse races, and like how like an Edgar Wright or Vince Gilligan like makes those scenes like intense and like shows you like will zoom in on like a character in the horse track and their job, or like creates like something cool out of the background. This doesn't do that. It's just very generic. Like it's really just character goes from A to B and they're telling you how cool and how smart they are, but they're not showing you. And I think that's what it comes down to. Like great movies are really better at showing than telling,
Absolutely. Otherwise, we'd just be listening to them. However, do you feel that you may have been grifted by grifters?
No, you fucking cornball. No.
Yes.
No. No. There's
always do it, Frank.
There's a lot of a net bending nudity. So if that's your thing, like I said, I only know like late 90s, early 2000s in net bending really. So it's interesting just to see her. I'm kind of interested in like other movies she's in now because she plays like carefree, goofy. She like pays for her rent with sex sometimes. Like
so do I, Frank. So do I.
We might have to soon, man. Might come down to it. Not in like a Kingpin way either. Roy.
Okay.
But no, just pass on this movie. It looks cool. The cover has like all three in sunglasses, looking slick and cool. But the movie is not.
Oh, they have sunglasses.
Slick.
Rent this movie, everyone. Rent it.
They got the Ray-Bans. No, man, it's not as slick as cool as it wants to be.
Okay. Well, not slick, not cool,
not fun.
Not fun. You're a fool.
Yeah. I checked out The Neon Demon. Finally, it's a movie that I've looked at a lot, and I was like, it seems complicated. I want to get into it. And what I've been doing lately is I just go on Letterboxd and sort by most popular film for like the 2010s decade, and I fade everything that I've already seen. So I'm just like, what's big and like well received that I haven't seen yet? And like Neon Demon was the first non-Pixar movie that was on that list. So I was like, I'll check this out. It's directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Driver also did Bronson. So
okay,
two movies that I really loved, and definitely stylized for sure. And Neon Demon is all stylized. It's about the modeling world, and it's very realistic at first, then gets surreal. Unlike any of his movies, maybe closer to Bronson than anything I've seen. Although I haven't seen all of his shit. It's about an aspiring model, Jessie, played by Elle Fanning, who I was aware of, but never seen her work before, and she's very interesting in this. Actually, dude, I saw her in Super 8 when she was like a kid. But she plays a young model
not a kid anymore, Frank.
In Los Angeles, and takes some of like the God, I don't want to give it away, but just like how people describe actors and models in LA and like that industry. No, just like how they treat each other. It takes that to like the metaphor to like a realistic way, and it turns into like this stylized horror movie like halfway through, and it gets really fucking weird and really gory, and there's definitely that two movie kind of thing which doesn't always work. It's also got very creepy Keanu Reeves, who runs the hotel that she stays at. You don't really get much out of him, which is a disappointment, especially considering how good we know Keanu Reeves is right now late in his career. Seriously. What are you doing with yourself? I don't even understand that. It was also good to see Jenna Malone, who I fucking love, play this. She plays a character who is like, in the beginning at least, very much like comforting and like, I know everything's like big and scary, but I've been through this. I'll give you some advice. I'm here for you. Yeah, exactly. But if you like super stylized stuff, there's a lot of substance to it. I think the movie kind of goes in a weird direction towards the second half and doesn't really finish strong, like doesn't really finish its thought. But there's a lot of cool shit in there, and it looks cool enough. And so fuck it. The performances are interesting enough that like I dug it. I appreciate things that are just weird and interesting, and I appreciate when like directors try to do something that at least I haven't seen before. I don't know if it's like based off of something, like some French genre that I don't know about, but I thought it was pretty cool. Just be prepared to not have everything wrapped up in a nice package and wrap with a nice bow on top.
Quarantine bow.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. You know what movie was totally cool with oh no, I'm all fucked up on the notes. Anyways, yeah, you fucking switched them for me.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Because I had them in order.
Oh, I probably fixed it. That's what I did.
He fixed it. Quotation points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's try to get back. My brain, back on track. Freaks was on the front page of Netflix for a while for some reason. This movie's from 2018. It's a weird mystery sci-fi about a girl who discovers that things...
She's got the power!
Her father's telling her that she can't leave the house, and there's crazy things going on. And he seems to be paranoid. He's played by Emil Hirsch, and he might be onto something, but it's not exactly what you think it is. And I think it's like, the first 30 minutes of this movie, you think this is just going to be about an overprotective...
Cloverfield Paradox or some shit, right?
I haven't seen Cloverfield Paradox, but... Or
not Paradox, I'm sorry. The Clover Lane.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, the John Goodman
Yeah, you feel like you're under... Like, the whole story is under the control of a paranoid... schizophrenic person, maybe just doesn't have a grasp of reality. And it's Emil Hirsch is a single father, and he has a little girl who's like, I don't know, like 7, 8-ish, pretty smart, but she's not allowed to leave the house. And there's just some strange things going on outside. There's a weird
shit going on,
weird
man.
Ice cream man out there, and he seems
fuck really is that ice cream man
cringy
doing, man?
and creepy. And you're like, there's a midway point where you're like, I don't know where this movie's going, and it seems dark, and it's preparing you for some gut turning shit. And then it's kind of like, is this like a disturbing horror movie, or is this like a superhero like origin thing? Like, what's going on here?
What the fuck is happening right now?
And there's some interesting stuff in this movie, but overall, I thought it was a mess. I don't know how you took it, but
yeah, I would agree. It's like a plate of spaghetti that you threw on the floor and then you put back on a plate, and then you threw it down again. These are my metaphors.
They're not quite landing, but
I don't know. But Emil Hirsch, who we've all been a big fan of his work over time, and
very likable guy. Yeah,
very likable guy. Definitely makes you not like him as much. It's just it's not his fault. The story just bounces interdimensionally through 9,000 different directions without a linear path, and there's just a lot happening, and they really rush this whole, whoa, we could have not wasted 30 minutes in the beginning of this movie to give you a little bit more underlying plot theory here than just try and make this and then completely do a 180.
It's a pacing thing. It's definitely a pacing thing, and it's what I just talked about with Neon Demon. It's like 2 movie syndrome. Like or almost it feels episodic, where you're getting like episode 1 and 2, and then 7 and 8 of a fucking series. Something
like that.
But you needed more connecting points.
Yeah, it started out Invitation, turned into Hunger Games. I don't know.
I was thinking X-Men.
Sure.
Yeah. Try to talk around without spoiling it. I mean, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I could see some people. I'm pickier than most. I know some people can just cherry pick cool stuff out of movies, and there's some cool stuff in this, and be like, I enjoyed it. It's weird. I want people to see this movie because like there's some cool ideas in here and some cool scenes. There is, but overall, when I was done with it, shit. I was like, this was not the best use of my time, and I didn't feel satisfied by the way the story ended.
He wasn't satisfied.
Like, I can't even fully... I just watched this thing, like, 5 days ago, and I can't even tell you if I remember, like, what happened.
There's an old dude. There's a chick.
Don't spoil it, man. I did like the mortging thing or whatever, where, like, the giant guy's like, okay, mommy. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
that was funny. But again, like, the tone of this movie...
How much better would that have been?
The tone of this movie is all over the place, because you have that, which is like morbidly funny. Then you have the ice cream truck shit where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, something's going.
It wants you to think like something awful is about to happen. So
For real.
like it's definitely like someone who I would check out their other films because they're messing with stuff that's interesting and there's some talent there and they're doing some
They might
things.
just be learning.
Yeah, but they don't all mesh. The sum of the parts did not add up. So
you can't take 6 spaghetti dinners. No.
Yeah, I mean it's something like if you're just like late night, you just want to watch something weird. Yeah, you might get something out of it, but you're saying just no. Yeah, you guys might
not that late. It's too confusing at that late of an hour.
You guys want to trust Josh more on this one.
Trust.
Yeah. So like a couple movies like we talked about where like didn't know what they were. We're trying to do too much. Spenser Confidential knows exactly what it is. Maybe a little too much. I was surprised this is a Peter Berg movie. It feels like one of those movies where it was going to get a theatrical release and they were like, oh no. And Netflix is like, sure, we'll take it because it's got a prestige actor, Mark Wahlberg, and it's got a prestige director, Peter Berg. And this is a weird movie, dude. It's very Boston, just bizarre, kind of a train wreck. I was definitely laughing at it more than laughing with it, but I kind of enjoyed this garbage movie. It's like Mark Wahlberg is a cop who was set up, and then he gets out, and he immediately wants to avenge kind of like the guy who set him up and fucked him over. I don't know.
In a way, kind of.
This movie has a really weird sense of humor. Winston Duke is in it, and he's very talented. And
Alan Arkin is in it.
The best thing this movie does is give Winston Duke and Alan Arkin screen time, but doesn't give them the best roles or best lines for their talents. And then also Eliza Schlesinger, who I assume is a friend of Mark Wahlberg, because the only other movie she's really done anything in was in Instant Family, also with Wahlberg, but a different director altogether. Her fucking aggressive Boston accent was cringy at first. Then it was like all I wanted to say. It was ridiculous. She just comes in like a fucking pit bull,
like
screaming. That's the thing. Her energy level is she's on a totally different rhythm than Mark Wahlberg in. Winston Duke is in a totally different movie than Mark Wahlberg, and Alan Arkin is probably in the best movie, but is, again, in the different movie. I enjoy the cameos, seeing Mark Maron and Post Malone, that was cool. But the movie just, all over the fucking place. It didn't know what it wanted to do. Oh, yeah. And, dude, can we talk about the songs? Did they just take the 20 most popular songs and coordinate fight scenes around them?
That I didn't catch as much.
Oh my god, dude!
With 6 Underground.
No, dude, how could you not catch it? There's Sweet Caroline fight scene in the fucking bathroom in a Boston bar. This movie's so desperately trying to be Boston that it seems like it would be
fair. I fucking love Neil Diamond, so
it's like Boston if it was translated from
Sweet Caroline.
It's lost in translation, but these are all Boston dudes. And then when he's having that sex scene with Eliza Schlesinger, it feels like the first time plays. So we were at halfway point when he's trying. Mark Wahlberg wants to become a trucker, and he sees this truck out front of the school named Black Betty. My girlfriend turns to me and goes, "Oh, they're going to play the Black Betty song." And yes,
for sure.
There's a fight scene at the end where he's driving Black Buddy, and of course they play "Oh Black Betty, Wham Balam." This movie's too much on the nose. It's the fucking dad joke of if all the dad jokes combined and morphed into a being that wrote a movie, it would be.
Can I give you my metaphor?
Spenser Confidential.
Yeah, we didn't even. I don't think tell anyone what the movie was. That's a good call.
It's a revenge cop thing. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I don't think at the end I'm
a terrible fucking name, by the way.
It's an awful name. And why is Spenser spelled different?
That I couldn't tell you. I don't know. It seems like a shittier, whiter Shaft.
It seems like a book that was probably pretty good, a Kiss Kiss Bang Bang kind of book that Mark Wahlberg just shit all over and was nah, let me do my jokes and make my Mark Wahlberg faces.
Did you see that trailer that Seth Meyers and him did? It was called Boston Accent, the movie.
No, that's what this is though.
That exactly. That was out a few years ago. So it's him and a few other people from Boston, Mark Wahlberg, and you should probably watch that and see if you could have caught this entire movie in that maybe like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
get back to us.
Did you have fun with it though? I mean, I had fun with it. It's a bad movie, but I enjoyed it very much.
Honestly, I think my favorite part was where he's like, "Yo, killed a cat," and then he proceeded to destroy that dude's fucking car because he heard a kitty.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Winston Duke.
Yeah, he fucked that car up.
Yeah, I feel like you take 2 of these characters and separate them from the other 2, and then you could have 2 good movies. But yeah, it was just.
That's true. It's not a buddy. It's a buddy, and it's barely that.
Fortunately, I found like a 1970s gem, I'll call it, in The Long Goodbye.
Good night.
The Long Goodbye. I typed it wrong in the notes. So apparently, Elliot Gould. I'm ignorant. He was cool. I know you're familiar with Elliot Gould. You've probably seen him in a dozen things. He plays this private investigator, Peter Marlowe, and it's very similar to like Inherent Vice, Joaquin Phoenix, where he's like not reluctant, but the guy's just on his own rhythm. Like he starts off, he just wants to get cat food and find his cat. That's all he wants to do. And
sounds like my life.
Yeah. He's trying to help get a friend out of his jam. He's like not quite a hippie, not quite Lebowski, a little bit more sharper than that, but just like an easygoing guy. He's got these neighbors that are like 6 women that live together and they're nude. They're doing yoga and they're kind of chill. Yeah, he's just got like a really easygoing life. He's like he's got his private investigator gig, but then he gets caught up in this murder mystery involving his buddy, and like at every turn he gets deeper and deeper into this organized crime situation. And he's like, the smartest guy with the sharpest tongue throughout the whole thing. And it's just a lot of fun, dude. Like the murder mystery thing is interesting and compelling, but just watching Elliot Gould like just fucking stretch out and do his thing was awesome. And it is a really good movie. I recommend it. It's where did I watch this one? Probably on
Hoopla. Hoopla.
Yeah, on Hoopla, but you can rent it digitally. Hoopla's been killing it, man. It's just a really cool movie, and it definitely, I could say it probably influenced stuff like Lebowski and Inherent Vice, because it's definitely have some similarities to those stories. And Elliot Gould is fucking cool. Like, check this movie out. I think you especially would like it.
Well, maybe at some point I'll check that. It kind of reminds me of a Robert Evans type character.
Yeah. It's just a cool movie, dude. It's a good time, and it's very unique. Like I said, I definitely think those movies have been inspired by it, but it's a good time.
So, Frank, just in theme with the pending doom of the world.
Yeah, you had to be a basic bitch and watch a fucking pandemic movie.
Well, this is technically, world-ending event would be more categorized for the world's end.
Yeah, this is the most popular one. It's this and Contagion.
Contagions fucking not that good though.
Yeah, but Outbreak is like on the front page of like iTunes and stuff because everyone's renting it.
Exactly. But mind you, I love a good 90s flick too. Things that we don't get from those movies that are it's just gone. So Outbreak, if you're not familiar, 1995, Dustin Hoffman, Cuba Gooding Jr., Donald Sutherland, Rene Russo. I mean, the cast is lit. We all know that those movies at that time always just had all-star fucking cast. So this movie's about army doctors that struggle to find a cure for a deadly virus that's spreading throughout a California small town that was brought to America by a African monkey. If you're not familiar, it's a fun watch, man. It's
not supposed to be a fun movie.
It's fucking super. No, look. This is more popcorn flick now.
It's 90s. It's 90s epidemic movies. It's like Jurassic Park, Independence Day.
Right,
like,
it's a popcorn flick. Bitch.
It has all the beats. Like there's this. I haven't seen this movie since like 1990s. But tell me, I'm gonna guess some things. You tell me if I'm right.
Okay.
There's the smart guy. He's probably a scientist that knows everything that's gonna happen, and no one will listen to him. He's just trying to get someone of authority, maybe the president. but no one will listen to him, and there's like a military person or a bureaucratic person in his way. Does that happen?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, yeah. There's always that. Then there's like the fucking military guy whose solution's like, let's just fucking shoot everything or nuke Africa or whatever the fuck it is.
That'd be Donald Sutherland.
Okay, yeah, boom, there you go. And there's also probably a female.
Oh, Morgan Freeman, by the way, if you don't know.
Morgan, is he the president?
No, he's not the president. He plays the guy that's in the military underneath Sutherland. He's a different general, but he's friends with Dustin Hoffman.
Okay. Is Dustin Hoffman the smart guy that no one will listen to?
He's the army doctor. And it's not that nobody's listening to him. He has a team of people, and they're chasing behind the situation and discovering information that the government's kind of covering up. So as he does that, and as they're slightly getting more exposed, and the thing is, growing exponentially in portion and infection, that eventually they're going to decide, hey, we got to do something to cut this off. And he's like, give me more time. I need more fucking time. And he's just chasing down this fucking monkey. So really, this whole story is just about a monkey chase, in my opinion.
Good old-fashioned monkey chase.
Good old-fashioned monkey chase. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s over there, like, in the bushes, like, with his little fucking tranquilizer gun, while they send this little girl to, like, go get the monkey because she's apparently befriended the monkey, trying to feed it, like, an apple or some shit. I don't know.
So,
all I know is
they're just trying to stop the, like, so the monkey...
The monkey was the initial patient zero, if you will, of the virus, and that monkey has the antibodies that they can use to create a vaccine. Okay. So to catch the monkey will allow them to fucking fix the situation. So it's a big old monkey chase.
So you got the monkey chase with Cuba Gooding.
Not only that, there's a great. I don't realize how much I didn't notice this before, but these helicopter drive-bys that they were doing, they were just like, all right, we got to go and get these fucking medical records. Take the helicopter. And they stole the helicopter from the military. They roll up there, do shit, land, do their thing. As soon as the cops are starting to roll up, they're piecing out of there in the helicopter. All right, we got to go here. And we heard that the monkey was near this house. We're just going to land where this fucking house is. Oh, all right, there's a guy on a ship that knows about the monkey, and Dustin, you're gonna jump off the side of the helicopter into that life raft, and then get on the ship, and then try to speak to all these dudes who are Chinese and see if they understand you. Good luck to you. All
Just
right.
heavy military aggression. Over the top.
They are fucking taking. Well, no, they're renegades, dude. Now they're wanted fugitives because they stole this shit. They're no longer abiding by command and they're trying to still find the vaccine or the way to create the vaccine. So they've abandoned their military objectives and are doing their own thing, while Rene Russo and Kevin Spacey are over there trying to like solve the thing from the ground floor. They've been involved, they're scientists among the team of like Cuba Gooding, Rene, Spacey, and Hoffman are like this team of scientists that are working the virus, trying to like.
Are they in labs, or you said they're on the floor, on the ground?
Well, yes, they're set up in labs. Okay. But they're made labs at these hospitals where they're dealing with the people on.
Are they like mixing stuff? Like, are they? They're dealing.
No, it's not that crazy. It's more like microscopes and shit, and looking at digitized shitty like.
Do they have like 90s music while you get into the microscope? You see the cells.
And then Spacey's all being a smart ass, being that smart ass Spacey. Look who's the smart ass now, Spacey. Look who's the smart ass now. However, he rips his suit at some point. He's like, oh god, it's all fine. It's all fine.
Fuck,
like,
man, you're making me watch this movie, you son of a bitch.
Not fine. It's not fine at all. And then Dustin, oh man, dude, it's just classic 90s drama shit that we don't get nowadays, I think, as well in this type of format. But the helicopter chase was hilarious. Yeah, no, it's a good action flick, man. Go watch that shit, especially in these times, so you can freak out more and look out for monkeys because they got that coronavirus.
Yeah,
fake news.
Finally, stand-up comedy is hard to really talk about on podcasts because you don't want to step on the jokes. You just really can say it was a good, bad. Yeah. But in general, I'd recommend, like, especially now, if you want to feel good, stand-up comedy is like my ultimate comfort stuff. Like, when I'm down, depressed, I'll just watch.
You don't need ice cream.
Ice cream plus stand-up comedy, like that's killer combo. Marc Maron has the aptly time and titled End Times Fun on Netflix. I'm a big fan of Marc Maron. So I'd recommend this. But just in general, like, Netflix has a thing where if you scroll over it, it'll give you a couple jokes as a preview, which I think is excellent.
Sure. I agree.
Just bop around on there and try some stuff out. Like, there's some good stuff on HBO Go and Amazon Prime. All those streaming services have some actually hidden gem stand-up specials, but Netflix right now has the most. I mean, they have all the biggest names. But yeah, if you're just like stressing out on what to watch, if you're watching the news, turn that shit off. Just put on your favorite stand-up comedy. There's a bunch of Maron stuff, bunch of Bill Burr, Rogan, Dave Chappelle, all that shit. It's a good way to spend an hour. Like, I can't recommend it enough. We're living in like the golden age of stand-up comedy. There's so much of it. And then
I totally agree. Yeah.
If you like one of those fucking stand-ups, I'm guaranteeing it. They have a podcast. It's probably better than ours because every stand-up has a podcast, and that'll be great.
That's true. And also, they'd be funny.
Yeah. They'd be funny. So yeah, that's all we got for this week. I assume we're probably going to get another episode up in a week or so because we're going to be staying in and watching a bunch of stuff. And what better time to listen to two idiots that watch a bunch of stuff recommend things for you?
Yeah, I couldn't not agree. Not can't, don't, won't more.
Yeah, it's late. Our brains are shutting down.
I'm totally good. All the contractions are fine.
Stay healthy. Wash your hands.
Wash your fucking hands. Wash your ass, and then wash your hands again.
Distantly socialize distantly, and hopefully, in a few weeks, this will be better, and we can joke more about things.
Maybe, or maybe it'll be worse.
Yeah,
and we'll be using this podcast as an emergency radio station, trying to guide people to safe, zones.
Maybe we all die shortly after I upload this to Podbean, and this is the last record of our existence, and someone listens to it.
Maybe if an alien hears this, bounce off a signal out there, our bad, dude.
Yeah, God, of all the things you could find for it to be our podcast.
Our bad.
All right, keep it clean, Charlie Sheen.
On
this
week's
episode
of
the
Video
Store,
Josh,
Butt Boys,
the
Outsider,
and
Frank,
Better
Call
Saul,
before
the
Paradise finds
is
Lego
Masters
and
Frank,
Devs,
Dave,
While up,
Bowling,
down,
with
night,
Owls,
at
the
Worlds,
and
While
Josh,
Grifters,
the
Freaks,
with
Neon, Demon. Where'd you go, dude?
with Neon Demon. What the fuck? You fucked it.
No, that was 2 words.
No, what? You said neon. I said demon. Demon is 1 word.
Demon never came up. I didn't hear you.
You didn't hear it?
No.
I'm sitting here waiting. I'm said demon.
No, you must have muted, you fuck.
Dude, I haven't touched anything.
This is the perfect outro anyway. It's fine. It's perfect like this. Yep.
No.
Yep.
No.
You still here? It's over. Go home. Go.